Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome to my LBA Season 6 Week 4 match against Matt and the Surrey Litleo. So I'm going to be trying to do it in the same format as last week. There's some confusion whether we'll be playing on Wi-Fi or on Showdown. Hopefully it will be on Wi-Fi, but I'll probably just do this kind of intro anyways because I'm battling on Saturday, hopefully, and it's Thursday night right now, and I felt like this was an appropriate time to record. But Matt's team, very, very scary. He's 3-0 right now. There's only 3 teams. They're 3-0. Me, Matt, and Josh. So coming out of this week, there's only the potential for 2 undefeated teams. So this will be a really good match. And he has a very scary draft. Matt always manages to have some of the scariest drafts you've ever seen. He's got Kieran Black, Hippowdon, Starmie, Bisharp, Superior, Mega Altaria, Clefable, Darmanitan, Conkeldurr, and Blissey. So, originally, Clefable was owned by someone else, but then it got dropped, and he picked it up, and also Conkeldurr was owned by someone else, and that got dropped, and he picked it up. So, he's very opportunistic as he managed to get 2 incredible mons really late, so that just makes his team so threatening. Obviously, Kieran Black is a huge threat. Bisharp is very scary. Mega Altaria and Superior can just clean through my team if I don't handle them right, and Conkeldurr could be an issue potentially. But his defensive mons like Clefable and Blissey and Hippowdon I'm not very afraid of. I feel like I have them pretty well dealt with, and Starmie could be a problem depending on how I play it if he brings it. So I really like my plan for this week. I think it's one of my more creative plans, and starting off we have Choice Scarfed Free to File, or Sylveon. So this set I'm very, very proud of because when I look at his team, I notice that he really doesn't have much to take Hyper Voices, and in testing, my opponent brought a very offensive team, and what Sylveon did was once that team was weakened, Sylveon just cleaned right through a Scarfed Hyper Voice. So my spread is max special attack and max speed. I had to run Timid Max to be able to outrun Starmie with the Choice Scarf if you're in max speed, which you probably won't, but just in case. And my set is Hyper Voice and Baton Pass, and you can ignore everything else. There's Hyper Beam and Heal Bell. I literally had nothing else that I needed to put on this thing. All this thing's going to do is spam Hyper Voice or click Baton Pass if I am in a situation where I can get Switch Initiative in case he has really specially bulky Clefable, or he brings Blissey, in which cases then I'll definitely try and pivot around those and try and gain initiative on him and then kill him, so then I can sweep with Sylveon. Heal Bell's just there because it's a filler move, and a Suicide Heal Bell, if necessary, could be handy, I guess. And Hyper Beam is there just in case I needed a huge hit on it to end the game. That was like the only way that I could imagine using it, that or I need a huge hit and then I'm going to die after that. So I don't think I'll be clicking anything but Hyper Voice and maybe Baton Pass. But 99% of the time on this thing, I'll be clicking Hyper Voice, I'd imagine. But his Hyper Voice is so good against his team. It 2-hit KOs all of his offensive mons after rocks, and it's really good. It's really good. So I'll move on to my next thing, which they're not in order. But next I got Sadaharu, which is my Entei, which I believe is making his debut because I was bringing this guy to week 1, but you guys never saw that because it never happened. But in other news, I will be playing my week 1 eventually, probably in week 5, so that's cool. But I'll change things because teams are different now. But yeah, so the set, Adamant Max Attack, I believe it has something around 116 speed EVs and 132 HP EVs with the Adamant nature. Like I said, Pressure, of course, the ability, and the Shookaberry. And my set is Sacred Fire, Will-O-Wisp, Extreme Speed, and Iron Head. So what my speed investment does it's going to let me outspeed Jolly Bisharp. Jolly Bisharp, which will also outspeed things like Adamant Altaria, which I don't think he'll bring a Jolly Altaria, but if he does, then it's going to be less powerful, and that means that I can wall it easier with my other mons. But Sugarberry is there because he has a lot of things that can have ground coverage. Like Kieran Black can go for an Earth Power, Altaria can have Earthquake, he could be running HP Ground on his Superior potentially. If he has Superior, he'd probably run HP Rock because I have a Crobat too, but I'm not sure what he'd run on Superior for a hidden power coverage if he brings it, because my team can wall out Superior pretty well, but Sacred Fire, Will-O-Wisp, Extreme Speed, and Iron Head, not Sacred Fire, is all I really need to hit his team. This thing's not going to hit his team super hard, but it has enough power to break down his walls. Like, if Hippowdon switches in and onto a Sacred Fire and I burn it, then that thing can be very easily dealt with, since he'll be forced to heal up, and if he doesn't, then it can't switch in again, because I don't think after Sacred Fire and burn it can take 2 more Sacred Fires following. Will-O-Wisp is there just in case I really need to burn something like Mega Altaria, which he has been running Heal Bell on a lot, so that's definitely a thing. Or if I just really want to burn something before I die, that would be ideal. Extreme Speed's nice because it's there and it's fast. And lastly, I have Iron Head. Hits the Kyurem a little harder, hits the Mega Altaria and Clefable a little harder. We'll make it so that after I burn Altaria, it shouldn't be set up fodder for it, which would be nice. But yeah, this thing should be really good against his team to lure and wear things down. I did mention that I'm pretty sure I said what my speed was, but if I didn't, it's 2 outspeed, max speed Bisharp, because Bisharp's a threat, and I didn't want to get knocked off when I had a chance to just Sacred Fire it and kill it, or if he's sashed, Sacred Fire, burn it, hopefully, because, you know, Sacred Fire burns a lot, it's better than Scald. And yeah. Next, I've got Tyranitar Daidara making his way through for his 3rd consecutive week of play, because T-Tar's so good. There's not a lot of reasons not to bring it usually. But my set this week is Fizz Def, max HP, max defense, 4 in attack, Interest Nature, Sandstreams, the ability with the Chople Berry, Stealth Rock, Stone Edge, Superpower, Thunder Wave. This thing is meant to set up rocks, maybe paralyze the thing. It's a check to Kyurem because Kyurem probably can't 2-hit KO it unless he's running Focus Blast or something interesting like that, but I should be able to take some Earth Powers, or I should be able to take some stuff depending on his set, and I can take a thing and Superpower or Stone Edge it or Thunder Wave it or something like that and get up rocks, because rocks would be nice to wear down things like the Kyurem as well as the Darmanitan if he decides to bring it. And also, this guy is my check to stuff like Darm, which would otherwise just kind of spam Flare Blitz a lot against my team, because even my Manaphy is going to take a bit from it since I'm not running a bulky Manaphy. But this thing should be good, can take anything that from the Bisharp and then knock it out in return with a Superpower. And yeah, Chople's just nice since he does have fighting coverage options on his team, so if I can negate those, then that's good. Chople Berry I find is just really nice on defensive T-Tar, because it pretty much ensures that you're going to live any one hit from anything in particular. And yeah, Thunder Waving things is nice, especially since my team isn't super fast this week. I've got Scarf Sylveon as my fastest Mon outside of my next Mon, Under the Sand, which is Yashiro, my Excadrill. Of course, another guy that comes a lot. He's also come every week so far, and set I'm running this week is probably the most innovative set that I've ran for an Excadrill, and I'm running max attack and 196 speedies, I want to say, which with a Jolly Nature, which is going to outspeed Jolly Mega Altaria. You know, just in case, I said that I don't think he'll bring a Jolly one, but this is a good benchmark to hit, because also, if he's not plus speed Kyurem, then I'm going to be outspeeding it with this guy, which is cool. But yeah. What else? So, 60 HP EVs, because that was what's left over. And then I've got EQ, Swords Dance, Magnet Rise, and Iron Head with the Air Balloon. So you may be wondering why Air Balloon plus Magnet Rise, but that's just to make sure that I can safely beat Hippowdon like all of the time, unless he's packing Fire Fang, which he could, I guess, but I don't think he would. But yeah. I can switch in Hippowdon as many times as I want unless he pops the balloon, which is cool. Even if he does, I can 1v1 it by setting up Magnet Rise and then Sword Dancing and then breaking through his team. But Excadrill's purpose is to break through the fat stuff like Hippowdon, Blissey, and Clefable, which are his only real fat things on his team, because none of those things want to take boosted Earthquakes and the likes, and because Hippowdon can't touch it, it makes it even better, because Hippowdon theoretically is his best answer to Excadrill because it doesn't really take much from an Earthquake, but after an SD or two, it's going to 2-hit KO, which is neat. Ironhead's there to hit those fairies again, and also Kyurem B for a little more damage, and Superior too. So yeah, Earthquake and Ironhead was the only coverage I really needed. Opted to not bring Hazard Removal this week because I don't think my team's that weak to rocks, and I really wanted these 4 moves, and I'm not bringing Crobat, so I didn't want to I felt like I didn't need Hazard Removal because honestly I don't get rid of hazards much ever. It's just how I play. But yeah, he can think I can spin and maybe think that I'm not going to be SD Rise, which if he doesn't think that, that's great, because then it's going to catch him off guard, and definitely my Mons so far are kind of meant to catch him off guard. Like, who's going to expect a Scarf Sylveon? It's so out of left field, but it should work really well, and that Shuka Entei should work hopefully will work like a charm to beat some stuff up. Then, gonna move on to the other Mon of my bulky core of Titar and Amoonguss. Oh, no, that's not an Amoonguss. This is Amoonguss, so welcome back, Alan. This is Alan's first game of the season in week 4, so glad that I finally got to bring him. And this is a mixed defensive spread. I'm packing 244 in HP, I believe 136 in defense, 8 special attack, which actually matters, and I'll go into it. And I believe 120 Spadef with the Bold Nature, and Regenerated Black Sludge with Clear Smog, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, HP Fighting. So Amoonguss blanket checks a lot of his team. It can take some things from Starmie, it can take things from Bisharp. It really shuts down Mega Altaria and Superior, which are really, really spooky because I have Clear Smog and a +2 Life Orb. Hidden Power Fire from a Superior is not doing much at all. It does about 70 at max, which, you know, is not very much considering it's an Amoonguss and it's a +2 hit, and then after a Black Sludge turn and then Regenerator, I'll be pretty close to full afterwards. And yeah, Clear Smog just makes it so that I'm not going to be losing to Leaf Storm Superior or Dragon Dance Mega Altaria or even Calm Mind Clefable, because all those can be very threatening to a lot of teams. Sludge Bomb's there so that I can hit the Kyurem hard, I can hit the Superior hard, Altaria and Clefable hard, and Darmanitan hard, and things like that. Giga Drain, you know, it hits the Hippowdon and Starmie for super effective damage, and it's gonna let me regain some health and Hidden Power Fire is there because this thing seems like a pretty free switch into Bisharp if he's Lumberry or something like that, and Hidden Power Fire does a lot to it. It's not going to kill, but it does a ton, and then I can take any single hit from Bisharp and then switch out and be okay to wall those other stuff. But yeah, this thing is just a real nice blanket check to a lot of his team. Even Kyurem, unless he's Life Orb, can't one-shot this thing, which is really nice. And my 8 special attack investment matters because what Matt really likes to run is Substitute Kyurem because of the fact that Kyurem just forces a lot of switches, and then once you have a Kyurem behind a sub, it's spooky. So with the speed creep that he'd probably run on Kyurem to make sure he outspeeds Excadrill and the rest dumped into HP, Sludge Bomb has a 94% chance to break a substitute. So I'm virtually always going to break a sub unless I get really bad rolls. In that case, then boo-hoo. But this is just in the case that he brings Substitute Kyurem. I don't think he will, but if he does, then I don't want this thing being set up fodder for it because I can take one non-Life Orb Ice Beam, and forcing him to take more damage and potentially get poisoned would be ideal if he wants to set up substitutes. But Amoonguss should just be really, really good in this matchup since it just checks so much of his team. It's great. I love things that can blanket check a lot of Mons, and that's why Amoonguss is just so good, because with the mixed defenses, it takes a lot of hits from a lot of things. I haven't run calcs against Conkeldurr, but I'm pretty sure this thing can take hits from it fairly well. And he actually had Keldeo going into, I think this morning, and then he dropped it for Conkeldurr, so I haven't adjusted my plan at all for it, but in testing, I was able to beat Conkeldurr fine, and it might just be a little annoying, but I should be able to beat it in theory. But I don't think there's anything that I could really do on my team that'd be too radical to change it. But so yeah, Alan should be really nice in this matchup just to not die and hopefully chip away at his team, because its coverage is pretty good against him. And lastly, I got Sharkbait, Manaphy, and this is a really cool set that I manufactured on my own. So I'm running max special attack with timid nature, a tiny bit of HP, and enough speed for his Darmanitan and Kyurem Black, both which hit base 95. So I'm running almost max speed, but with a tiny little sliver of bulk. I'm going to set Tail Glow, Dazzling Gleam, Scald, U-Turn. So if you look at his team, he has checks or counters to Tail Glow Manaphy in the way of Blissey, which I don't know if I'll bring Blissey as his counter to this thing, because it's been known that Manaphy can run a fat subset that can't be broken by a Seismic Toss and taken advantage of. So I don't think he'll do that, but he does have Clefable, and Clefable runs can have Unaware, and Unaware totally shuts down Manaphy. So this thing with U-Turn is going to turn into a fantastic lure, because he has things like Superior and Clefable, which I think are going to be his checks to this Tail Glow Manaphy, and having U-Turn is going to let me get a lot of free switches to other things by U-turning on an expected Tail Glow or something like that. So I really think that U-Turn is going to be good in this game, and then if I'm able to get rid of stuff like Superior and Clefable, then I can just set up a Tail Glow, and then Scald plus Dazzling Gleam hits his team really, really hard. It's not perfect. Well, it does get perfect coverage, but it doesn't get like super effective coverage on everything. A +3 Dazzling Gleam isn't going to be killing things like Starmie or Superior, but those I wouldn't stand on those things because I expect them to have super effective coverage against me anyways. But I want Dazzling Gleam as my second option as my second attack to go along with Scald, because it's going to hit the Kyurem, it's going to hit the Mega Altaria, things that would eat up a Scald, and it's also going to hit the Conkeldurr, which is really nice. So even if he's Assault Vest, I think I kill it. I honestly don't know, but I'd imagine that a +3 Dazzling Gleam is going to do a ton, if not kill it outright. But this thing should be really nice to clean up late game and gain me some momentum early game. So this thing has gone on really long, and I apologize for the length of this video probably, but I don't care. I'll leave an annotation to skip ahead probably, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the game. Alright, so unfortunately we couldn't have the battle on Wi-Fi. He was having some genning issues, so we just had to do it here. Looking at Matt's team, he brought pretty much exactly what I expected. Conk, I did think, because he wanted to be able to Mach Punch my drill, and it also just can be annoying against my team. Hippowdon Clefable Core obviously coming, since it walls all my team. So I'm definitely thinking that U-Turn Manaphy is going to do a lot, because that's most definitely Unaware Clef, and if it's not Unaware Clefable, then I'm going to sweep him with Manaphy very quickly. Starmie I thought would come, because I thought that Kyurem and Darm were also likely to come, and he'd want to keep rocks off the field for those. And looking back on it, I now see that my answers to Darm are the same things that answer Kyurem, which is really not good, because none of them have recovery. So the combo of Darm and Kyurem just totally destroy my team, and so it's not going to be very easy for me to win this game. But I do have some cool sets up my sleeve that I already talked to you guys about that hopefully will do the trick for me. So I'm just gonna let's put this on slow. So I'm gonna lay off with Manaphy, because I was pretty sure he'd lead off with either Hippowdon or Darm, and I wanted to get the initiative right away, and he is going to lead off with Darmanitan. So I'm going to go right for the U-turn, as he goes for U-turn as well. Shows that he's Choice Scarf. That's bad. I kind of wish he was Banded or something so I could outspeed it. But he goes in Clef, obviously is switch in and a U-turn, so that's good. I'm going to go Nente because I could have gone into Excadrill. I didn't want to risk this thing being like something weird like Babiri Berry with Fire Blast and him killing my Excadrill, and Clefable can't do anything to an Entei, and obviously he doesn't want to take a Sacred Fire or an Iron Head because more likely than not he's going to be Spadef because it's going to take on Manaphy a lot better. So here I have a free Sacred Fire, and basically all I want to do, as he does show leftovers right there, all I want to do is burn the Hippowdon because I thought that'd be his switch, and I'm going to go for Sacred Fire, no burn. That's okay because I do have plenty of switch-ins to Hippowdon, and I'm going to go into Excadrill, and since I'm on the balloon, I can dodge it. Sets up rocks. I don't have spin because I don't remove hazards, and I'm just going to go right for the EQ. I guess what I should have done is gone for the Sword Stance, but I didn't want him switching out and then into like Starmie or something and me being flat-footed. But here I'm going to go for the Magnet Rise. This was my time to go for the Sword Stance, as he doesn't have Roar. He can't have Roar with his set since he's shown all his moves. As I'm going to click Earthquake again as it forces him out, makes the Conk take a lot, and now I just go into Amoonguss. I can take a hit from this thing, and he goes for the Drain Punch. And I want Excadrill to stay healthy just because, so I can maybe take a fire thing from Clef. And he's going to go into Kyurem. I know Kyurem's coming in. I'm going to fire for Sludge Bomb, and I get the Poison, which is huge, which is exactly what I wanted because I didn't mention it, but his answer to Amoonguss definitely seemed like it was going to be Kyurem in this matchup, because we're going to see that he doesn't show an item, and I'm kind of thinking that he could be Safety Goggles here because Roost plus Safety Goggles allows this thing to really beat Amoonguss, and Amoonguss would be super annoying against his team otherwise, as you can see. I don't have Spore, unfortunately. Spore would have been nice, but I just don't have it. Also, at this point, I'm paranoid that he's going to have Heal Bell on his Clefable, but if it's unaware, it's likely that he'll have Moon Stab, Fire Coverage, and then Wish Tech, because I don't think he'd bring Moonlight since I have Sand. Wouldn't make much sense to me. But it's still possible that he will have Heal Bell, so I'm really hoping he doesn't so that all my statuses won't go for naught. Anyways, I'm going to go into Manaphy because he's not going for the Fusion Bolt right here. He goes for the Roost. And right here, I'm just going to U-turn out because I know I can't kill him with a Dazzling Gleam. I could potentially 2-hit KO him with the Poison, but that's not happening. So I'm going to go into T-Tar, and he's going to Iron Head, and I'm Fizz Def T-Tar. That still does quite a bit for having no item, which is spooky. And right here, I need to get up my rocks so that I can wear down that Kyurem and that the Darm. So I'm going to go into Amoonguss because likely he can go into Starmie, and also Amoonguss is a safe switch into the thing, and he's going to go to Starmie, and now here I feel safe going for the Giga Drain because he wants these rocks off the field. He really wants these rocks off the field. So I'm just going to go right ahead and click Giga Drain as he does Rapid Spin, so that's good. I'm going to do a lot of damage, but the thing is, it's going to be hard to get rocks back up, and here I'm expecting the Psychic, and I was not counting the Sand turns, which was really dumb because it's like right up in this. Ah, jeez, my ear just like did something weird. I was not counting the Sand turns, so what I did here was I predicted the Psychic thing to go off, and I go into my T-Tar to let him die to Sand, but he clicks Hydro Pump, and that was really bad because that was my probably my best answer to Flare Blitz spam, so that's not good. And I'm going to go Nente, click E-Speed. I want this thing dead, but he's going to go into his Hippowdon. I guess I could have just straight up predicted that and gone for the Will-O-Wisp, which would have probably been my better play, but it would have been the aggressive play. But now he's going to double back out as I click Sacred Fire here, as I guess he was playing the odds, but since I had the Shuca Berry, and it was quite possible he'd try and double there, I just went right for the Sacred Fire again. So I'm going to Willow here because I want this thing burnt, and he's going to pop my Shuca Berry, and that does nothing. That did 20%, so that's nice. And now I can switch out and go into Manaphy here because it's not going to do much. Yeah, it does 18%. It did 20% to the Shuca Entei, so that's pretty crazy. But here, I'm going to start firing off Scalds because I want to get the burn on this Clefable. That's what I really want. Since rocks are up, I don't feel comfortable going into Entei every single time. And I'm just going to U-turn on out now because obviously I don't want to take a moon thing. I'm going to go into Entei, because I figured if he had a fire move, he'd probably go for it right here, and he does. So he goes for the Fire Blast, and now I'm going to die to rocks, and that's not good. So basically here all I can do is spam Sacred Fire and hope to just get this Hippo down as far as I can. And I'm just going to keep on spamming Sacred Fire until he kills me. And then I'm going to go into Manaphy and spam Scald again. And it puts him at half, and it's a burn. And oh, I forgot to mention this earlier, but based on that damage, that is max special defense Clefable, I'm fairly certain. But I get the Scald burn, that's huge, because now I can force him to recover, and I'm going to continue spamming Scald to put pressure on him, because if he didn't recover here, then I could kill him in the following turn, which would be silly. But he's going to Wish, so now I know that he's Wish. And basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stay in and get more lefties, and because I know he's going to protect, but I just wanted to get that leftovers recovery because it's big, and I want Manaphy to be as healthy as possible. And now I think here I go into Amoonguss. No, I'm going to Scald again because I know he's going to Wish again, and I want as much health as I can on my Manaphy. So I'm up to 62, so after another round of rocks, it's going to put me down a little bit. And now I'm going to switch out Manaphy and go into my Excadrill, and yeah, it's just going to protect again. So I guess I could have clicked Scald once more, but I didn't want this thing getting too healthy, because at the point is that now it can't switch into Manaphy, which is really cool. And I can go into Excadrill, click Iron Head, and unfortunately it's going to die to the burn, so Excadrill's not going to be able to get a kill, but Entei does, so that's Entei's second kill of the game, second kill of the season. And it's going to go into Darm. I have nothing for Darmanitan at this point. So basically, at this point, I ran the calcs. I have to keep Manaphy at high health. It does like 50 max, but it's really hard to keep Manaphy above that since there's Stealth Rocks on the field, and I need to switch into this thing to apply pressure on his team, so it's not looking good right now, it's not. But here, he's not going to sack his Darmanitan. I waffled over this for a minute, like, would he sack for damage? There's no way he'd sack for damage, because even if he did sack for damage here, I would just straight up win with Sylveon, and because I'm Scarfed. And I don't think he would do that because Darmanitan cleans through my team at this point. So the likelihood of him staying in is nil, and also because his Clefable is going to get 2-hit KO'd by Scald plus Burn, he can't switch that thing in. So Conk or Kyurem are coming in here, and I'm going to click Dazzling Gleam to 2-hit KO either of those. Conk comes in, going to Degleam it, do a lot. Well, not very much, but it's going to 2-hit KO him from that spot. And he Mach Punches. I guess I could have switched, but I wanted the kill, and I didn't really want Amoonguss 1v1ing the thing because it can Ice Punch me and do a lot, and I wanted Amoonguss healthy. Now here I'm going to go into I'm going to U-turn. I guess I could have Scalded and got some lefties recovery. I'm going to go into Sylveon here, and I think I just switched right out into Amoonguss, yeah. Yeah, he misses a Fire Blast here, which is unfortunate, but in my argument, I didn't get a burn on a Sacred Fire. I don't know, but I don't think it really matters at this point, because it doesn't matter how healthy Amoonguss is, because Darmanitan still kills it no matter what. So here, I'm going to Sludge Bomb, and this is kind of my misplay. Like, I'm not sure how I could have won at this point, because spoilers, I don't, but here, it's pretty obvious he's going to Roost, and my internet connection was really shitty in this game, so what I did was I clicked Manaphy, because either he roosts or he goes for the Ice Beam, and what I wanted to do, but then I said cancel, and I wanted to go to my Sylveon because I wanted to kill this thing, and maybe make something happen somehow. I wasn't sure, but I got disconnected and then had to reconnect to the internet, and when I came back, I was with Manaphy instead of Sylveon. So had I gone to Sylveon here, I would have been able to kill the guy, or if he tried to switch into Clefable, I would have 2-hit KO'd it. But now I can't kill him with the Dazzling Gleam as he goes for the Roost, and now he's going to be able to kill me with the Fusion guy, and then he's going to die to the Poison. But now Darm just kills my last 2 mons. There's no way I can do this. If I was like Helmet Amoonguss, then I could have had the Darm die, but then my Sylveon can't beat or actually I probably could have beat Wish Protect Clefable, I don't know. But I'm not, I'm mixed defenses Black Sludge, and he's going to clean through me with Darm. So that's a game I'm going to lose 2-0. I guess I definitely could have played that a little better. I did not conserve my Darmanitan checks as well as I should have, so that was a huge mistake on my part. But overall, really well played on both sides. Not much hacks. It was like a Fire Blast miss, but that's whatever. It didn't matter in the end. So he gets a 2-0. He's 4-0. Matt's insanely good, so I don't mind that. He's like, if there's anyone you're going to lose to, you're going to lose to Matt, and you're not going to be that upset about it. But I know, I'll see him in playoffs, and I'll beat him in playoffs with some more heat sets. I'm really sad that I couldn't show off my Scarf Sylveon, because that was like the thing that I wanted to use the most on this team, and it didn't do anything at all. So that was unfortunate, but when you have a Spadef Clef and a Scarf Darmanitan, it's not going to do much. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you later. Peace.